Thank you for watching Mystic Mondays with me, Monica Bay, also known as the Healer in Heels on United Intentions Media Network. Want to see more of me? Be sure to follow me on all social media at The Real Monica Bay. Join me next time on Mystic Mondays as we continue to elevate and illuminate all things mystic. Until next time. Stay updated on all UI Media shows at www.uimediaapp.com. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Mystic Mondays. I'm your host, Monica Bay, also known as the Healer in Heels. I am an energy healer, a psychic medium, and a spiritual teacher. I named this show Mystic Mondays because I have a passion for mysticism, self-actualization, and spiritual evolution. So before we get started with today's show, I would like to say hello to our friends at WDJY 99.1 FM and hello to our friends at WTTA 101.2 FM in Kentucky and Ohio. So you can watch and listen to all exclusive content 24/7 at uimediaapp.com. So today's show topic, we are talking all about conscious relationships. So coming up in the next segment, we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Sonali Sadequee, and she is a yogi and lifestyle transformation coach at Sustainable Wellness. So we are going to really get into talking about conscious relationships today, because I know that's something that a lot of you need right now. And we're going to give you a whole lot of insight into that and how to do that and what all that means. So, but before we get started, I also want to let everyone know that we have Mystic Challenge going on today in today's show. So Mystic Challenge is where you get to call in and answer one of 3 questions. And if you get them right, then you get a free gift. And today's free gift is a Monica Bay Healing Stone, which is perfectly and beautifully charged and powerfully charged with my healing energy to help uplift your spirit, your soul, and to help cleanse you and balance you and ground you. So you get that free if you get the challenge and you get the question right. Even if you get the question wrong, you still walk away with a free gift, which is a free Mystic Monday t-shirt. Very high quality and nice, so it's definitely a good thing to have. Now, in order to play the challenge, you need to just give us a call at 678-495-4345 to play the challenge, or you can also call that number to ask any questions during the show, and we will be happy to answer them. I have a big announcement to make. So I would like to announce that I have a wonderful healing event coming up. And in light of social distancing, I am doing a virtual healing event. So this virtual healing event that I'm doing, which is on April 25th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This event is all about removing the fear, eliminating fear, not just discovering it and talking about it, but actually getting rid of it. So with my healing ability, I'm able to just, really tap into you and just remove all of that fear. So this is fear that's been holding you back, fear that either has, been holding you back for a long time, or more recently because of what's going on in the world today. So not only are we going to eliminate that fear during this event, we're also going to allow you to have a deeper connection with yourself, with your higher self, in order for you to have clarity and direction in life. A lot of people right now are trying to figure out what's their next step, what they want to do. And so I put this event together to really help people do that. So eliminating those fears, removing past traumas, things like that are inside of you, and then helping you gain more clarity and direction in life. So you will leave this event changed in a very, very positive way. And this is an experience. So it's not just listening to me talk. This is an experience that you're going to actually experience. So it is April 25th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, in order to register for this event, you can go to monicabay.com/event. Again, that's monicabay.com/event. All right. Let's get into it today. Again, you're watching Mystic Mondays. Very happy to be here. Thank you all for joining me today. And it is now time for Mystic Message. Mystic Message. I love it. So the message that I received, so what Mystic Message is every time before the show, I go into a deep meditation and I, determine, I allow whatever the universe has for me, has for all of you to come through me. And so what I received today, a message for everyone here, is about keeping your chi clean. So I've talked about this before on past shows, that chi is your life force energy. It is the energy that flows through you. It is the energy that makes you alive. It is the energy that animates your body. It is the energy that flows through your emotional state, your mental state, your physical state, your spiritual state. Your chi is everything. So the message today is about keeping your chi as clean as possible. And the reason why you want to keep your chi as clean as possible is because, like I said, it affects everything in your life. And the cleaner your chi is, the better your immune system is, the better your emotional balance is, the better your mental state is, and the better you can actually focus as well, in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve in life. But also it helps you with your physical body. It's very preventative in order to prevent illness, because illness is a disease. It's disease. When your body is out of balance, it is out of ease. And so this is why keeping your energy clean is important, and your chi specifically. So I've said this before on other episodes, but there are three kinds of chi. So chi that makes up your entire body. So you have three kinds of chi. One is the original essence, it's called, that you get from your parents. So your parents have given you, when the sperm and the egg create the new chi that is you. That is your original essence chi. Now you don't have any control over that, because you have what you got as far as the quality of that chi. Okay. And then you have the chi also comes from the food that you eat. So the food that you eat, what you take into your body, as we say, you are what you eat. That is very true. The food that you take into your body contributes to the quality of your chi, which is why it's important to eat healthy foods. And then you also have the chi that from the air that you breathe. And so better quality air helps to keep your chi clean as well. So again, staying away from junk foods, things you can't pronounce, and keeping the air as clean as possible. Now, obviously, you don't have control over the air outside, but especially since we're all home right now, we do have control over the air that we breathe in our homes. And so in order to try to keep that air as clean as possible, what you can do is get an air filtration system. Also, houseplants work really, really well. So houseplants, because they give you oxygen, and they clean the air of carbon dioxide, and they're really, and it also gives healing energy. So it's very, very positive. Houseplants are a good thing to have in the home. Also, putting some really nice essential oils together in a diffuser around your home also can help clear out the negative energy, because plant medicine of those essential oils, if you use the right ones, like some of those are bergamot, lemon essential oil, also rosemary essential oil, and there's a bunch others, but those are just some examples. You can take those essential oils, and that helps clean your air in your house and helps set the energy right. Okay, and then also as far as crystals, because a lot of people like crystals out there, shungite is one of my favorites. Shungite is a crystal that helps with transmuting negative energy into positive energy. And again, this all contributes to the air quality as well, because we're talking about the energy that you're breathing in as well as the actual air molecules that you're breathing in. So those are ways to help, with that energy. So the message today is about making sure that your chi is clean, because the cleaner your chi is, the healthier you are overall, and the better you're able to manage, especially in these times that we're in right now. So it's important to just remember that and do that. So now I want to get you some tips. I want to give you guys some tips about cleaning your chi. So one of the ways that you can also clean your chi is through chakra balancing exercises and meditations. You can listen to, a meditation in the morning or any time of day, and specifically dealing with chakras, right? Because your chakras are connected to your chi. Your chi flows through all of your chakras and your meridians throughout your entire body. And so when you focus on cleaning those chakras, because the chakras are where all of the gook, I'll call it, ends up from the, dirty chi, we'll just call it. So when you clean your chakras, that ends up cleaning your chi as well, because again, everything is fluid, everything is flowing and connected. So listening to chakra balancing exercises or listening to chakra balancing meditations are very, very good to do to help your chi be as clean as possible. So another thing that you can do to help clean your chi, again, like I talked about, healthy food. So I want to point this out because a lot of people are vegetarian or vegan, and they see just meat as kind of the enemy as far as being clean and keeping your chi clean. But one thing that you have to remember, even if you are vegetarian or a vegan, you have to remember that plants also carry with them stress. Plants also can carry with them negative energy. So it's still important to cleanse that as well. Even if you're just eating beans or fruit or vegetables and things like that, there's still a cleansing that has to happen to that food in order to keep it, where it's actually good for you in terms of the energy is concerned, because you are what you eat. So I'll tell a quick story about one time with, and this is dealing with specifically meat. But again, they have done studies that show that plants do take on the energy of their environment, and plants do have emotion, and they do have stress and things like that. So they've done plenty of studies on that to prove that. So it is very real. And so, quick story of what happened to me one time. So I'm obviously, I'm an energy healer. And because I'm an energy healer, I can literally feel everything that I put in my body. And and I'm also psychic. So I read that energy, and it really, has the ability to affect me or not, which I don't let it do. But one time I went on a very, very long fast where I didn't eat at all. I just drank water, and it was a spiritual fast to open me up even more. When I came off the fast, I went to just, when you come off a fast, you're supposed to eat very, very light. So I ate very, very light. And then the next day I decided to just, have some eggs, something still, light. But what happened was, once I ate the eggs, I immediately felt this depression, this like negative energy. And as I tuned into it, I knew it wasn't mine. I knew it was coming from somewhere else. So as I tuned into it further, I followed the trail back and realized that what I was actually sensing and picking up on and feeling was the depression from the chicken that laid the egg. So that just shows you how serious the energy is when you can feel it. And most people don't notice the energy that they're taking into their body. But the way that farmers are treating the animals that they're treating right now, and they're really raised in a lot of stress and anguish, and that gets into the meat. That energy gets into the meat, and then when you ingest that, or even like I said, the chicken that lays the egg, right? The egg now has the energy from the chicken because chi is transferred, right? So you take that in and you get that energy, and it starts to mess up yours. But again, it's not just animals, it's plants as well. So that's why I always suggest that people, when you eat something, and this is where prayer comes in, and where that comes from, actually, because a long time ago people started praying over their foods thousands and thousands of years ago, and it's because they understood this. So praying over your food, or just infusing it with positive energy before you eat it. So I Reiki my food before I eat. Some people pray, but it's whatever you do, whatever works for you. You want to focus on actually making sure that whatever you're saying and infusing is setting the intention to put positive energy into the food that you're eating. So again, taking that in, and then also keeping the energy of your environment clean. I've mentioned that when we were doing the mystic message. So really, remember those things as well. And you can also charge scented candles. Here's another thing that some people don't think about. You know, we keep scented candles around our house for those of you who like those. But you can also charge those candles with intention. And you can charge that candle with intention of keeping a peaceful and happy environment. Also, you can charge it to help you focus more. Anything you want, you can charge those candles with that. And then so as you're lighting the candle that you would normally light anyway to keep your house smelling good, not only are you having some aromatherapy, but it's also putting the right energy into your atmosphere. So definitely do that. And if you would like to call in and ask any questions or to play the Mystic Challenge, please call 678-495-4345. And we will be right back after this with Sonali. And she is going to give us a whole lot of information about conscious relationships. All right. See you right after this message. You're watching Mystic Mondays.
At Heiser Orthodontics, we understand that your smile is a big deal for both kids and adults. We have the latest technology and state-of-the-art equipment. But honestly, what makes us unique is our patient experience. And we are not the only people saying this.
Heiser Orthodontics is amazing.
Superb.
Trustworthy. Compassionate.
A friendly place where they know what they're doing, and that's what I like about it.
We are a family-owned private practice where kids are valued, parents have a voice, and the entire Heiser team puts the patient first. Discover the Heiser Orthodontics difference. Call 470-330-9083 for a free consultation today.
Hello and welcome back to Mystic Mondays. Thank you so much for joining us. I am here. Today we are talking about conscious relationships. Now, right now, with everyone doing social distancing and staying home, sometimes your relationships may be suffering. Sometimes this could be, shining the light on existing issues that you were, ignoring before. And so it's important that you grow your relationships from a conscious level. And this doesn't just mean romantic relationships. We're talking friendships. We're talking family relationships. And so today we have a wonderful guest with us, and we have Sonali Sadequee. And she's here to tell us all about conscious relationships. She is a yogi and a transformational coach. All right. Welcome to the show, Sonali.
Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you for having me. It's so lovely hearing you. And I just love how you spoke about the detailed ways in which energy influences us. From our food, and then also how we can use candles and infuse intentions into the candles to transform the energy in our environment. I love that. And yes, and energy. And if I may, I'll dive in.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So energy is also so much in the mix of every relationship.
Yes. It definitely is. Yes.
What we say in conscious communication is that in a relationship, there's two people, right? Mm-hmm. And in between the two people, there's a space, right?
Yes.
And we call it the space in between. And that space in between is the relationship. Mm-hmm. And the space in between is an energetic field.
It is. 100%. 100%.
Yes. And how the two people communicate with one another, they are contributing to the energy field that exists between their hearts.
Yes. In their thoughts, their emotions, all of those things contribute to that. Yes,
exactly. And so my work is really about that. My work is about how can we create an energetic field between the two of us that will nurture us, that will support us. It's creating an energy field in such a conscious and intentional way that we are conscious about what we put into that energy field. And we're also conscious about how we receive from that energy field and how we give to that energy field so that we both can benefit from the energy field, which is really the relationship.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love the concept of looking at a relationship as an energy field, because that's literally what it is. There are those connections between us and everyone that we communicate with, and those that we communicate with more often, those connections are stronger. And that it literally is an energetic connection. So it is important to understand that there is energy involved in every relationship that you have, and you have to master and know how to cultivate the right kind of energy in order to have those healthy relationships, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And it does take a lot of consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
intentionality, so that we are intentionally putting in energy that we know is going to benefit the relationship, which means it'll benefit both people.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And
yeah. So, because relationships should always be mutually beneficial. It should always be symbiotic. And sometimes people have, one-sided relationships, right? Where one is giving more than the other, or one is in it more than the other. So, now one thing I want to just kind of dial back. So, how would you define conscious communication? I think you kind of just gave a little bit of a definition of that, right? How would you define that?
Yeah. So technically, conscious communication is a combination of a few different disciplines, if you will, that I have pulled from. It's a combination of understanding how our nervous system functions. And that's really important to understand our nervous system function. And I'll get more into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
And so it's a combination of our nervous system, which is really a lot of neuroscience. Okay, and then it's a combination, and then it combines communication and relationship science. Mm-hmm. So like social sciences about what we know from relationship science world, right?
Yeah.
And the research that's been done, what we do know about what helps to create the best kind of relationships. What are we craving as human beings from our relationships? Okay, so I take that information and I infuse it into my conscious communication program. And thirdly, it also involves a lot of the world of information that we have gathered over the years of research around conflict resolution.
Okay, and that's so important.
Yes, yeah. Yes. So like when there's challenges, when there's difficulties, when there's suffering and pain, or even just really hurtful situations that happen in our relationships that we do as people, because we're people and we're human and we have our weaknesses when it comes to not understanding how to really show up in relationships or how to behave in our best behavior in our relationships, right? Mm-hmm. We all have challenges around that, and it can create conflict in relationships, And yes. So it's really important to know what kind of behaviors and what kind of languaging, what kind of verbal and nonverbal communication techniques are most helpful to de-escalating a conflicting situation. So I infuse a lot of that science into what I call the conscious communication program that I offer to my clients.
Okay, awesome. I love that. And I love that you do that, because a lot of people, some people will think about the actions that they have to take within the relationships, and some people will just think about the energy or the manifestation part. But it's important to bring all of those elements together. The ethereal and the mundane, have to come together for things to really, really work properly and directed as the way that you want them to in your relationships. So one thing that I found interesting on your website as I was reading through is the somatic resiliency. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you for asking. So that is actually the part about understanding our nervous system. Yeah. So somatic means body, right? And resiliency means, understanding how the body is responding to stimulus. Yeah. And essentially, how is the body responding to the people and to the relationships that we're in, right? And so I'm going to very much contextualize how I talk about somatic resiliency in the context of communication and relationship, because we can talk about it in all kinds of different contexts. Yeah. But in the context of communication and relationship building, I'll give you an example. Say when we first meet somebody, right? And say when we first fall in love, for example, and it feels so good, and we feel safe with this person, we're so open, they're open with us, and we're feeling this sense of deep connectedness. Like, oh, they get me, oh my gosh, they're completing my sentences, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's all the feelings of the love high,
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's happening in that phase of our relationship. There's actually 3 basic phases of relationships, of all relationships, that are kind of like, if you will, like in romantic relationships or intimate relationships, and even like in friendship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in understanding that, how in that kind of a phase, in that initial phase, we feel really safe with people, But at some point, as we keep getting to know people, as we keep getting to go deeper into the relationship, our stuff starts to come up.
Yeah.
And then we start to see each other slightly differently, or we start to see a bigger picture about the other aspects of this person, right? And sometimes we start to see things that might make us feel a little scared, or may irritate us, or make us angry, or make us, frustrated, or, and the thing is that that's also very much a normal part of a relationship. The thing is that in that phase, which is the kind of like the second phase, what happens is that because we're not getting exactly what we expected or what we were getting on the first phase, right? When we were both in our best behavior, right? In meeting and trying to impress each other and support each other and all of that. In the second phase, as life settles in and as, we get busy and whatnot, people can start to feel like, oh, this person's changed, or this person doesn't do what they did before, or,
Yes.
right? And it's actually very normal. The thing is that it's not, and oftentimes we interpret that as, oh, something's wrong. Oh, something is wrong in this relationship. Oh, something's wrong with this person, or something's wrong with me. Like, it's not how it used to be. And what I actually want to say is that becoming conscious means we recognize that this is a very normal part and phase of any developing relationship, any deepening relationship. And here's what happens. Coming back to your question, somatic, is that somatically in that second phase, we can start to feel kind of unsafe. We can start to feel kind of disconnected from this person or in this relationship. We can start to begin to question the viability of this relationship. We begin to get insecure. We begin to feel like all these feelings that kind of essentially at the end of the day is really about just feeling unsafe or disconnected.
Yeah.
And when we feel that, our nervous system, somatically, we have a reaction. We kind of get into a stress response.
It's true.
Okay. Yeah. We get into a bit of a stress response. And then in that kind of a stress response, somatically, we kind of get a little closed off. And we can feel it. Either our heart kind of closes off, or our mind. We kind of close off our curiosity. We're not as curious about this person like we were in the first phase, right?
Start to step back a little bit. Yeah.
Or we begin to assume things about the relationship or about this person, like as though we know what's going on, and that kind of prevents us from being curious and keeping in the wonder, right, that we had in phase 1.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that when that happens, biologically, somatically, our body is responding with a stress response. Okay. And so coming back to your question, somatic resiliency is all about a particular kind of practices that we can do, that I teach to my clients, the things that you can do to regain a sense of safety in your own body, so you can kind of reverse the impact that the stress is having in your own body, so that when you come in, when you respond and when you exchange and interact with your loved one, even in that second phase, you're coming with a greater sense of resiliency and wonder and curiosity from a place of openness rather than place of assumptions and place of like this doom and gloom attitude.
Yeah.
Because the doom and gloom kind of attitude, like the negativity that gets kicked up, is actually a result of fear that gets kicked up.
Mm-hmm.
And as we do know, like fear of what? Fear of the loss of phase one, or the fear of like it's not being so wonderful anymore, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So now somatically, it's really important to understand and be able to track our nervous system, because when we get into that kind of a fearful kind of a place, feeling kind of unsafe, we're closed off, and our body is kind of closed off, right? Our body is always responding. So being able to track what's happening in our body and being able to like do what we need to do to release the tension from our body becomes really important. Because when we can free up this tension and discharge this tension.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to break. We're going to hold that thought. We're going to have to go back into that in the next segment. But thank you very much. This is a great conversation that we're having. It's very much needed right now. So we'll be right back after this. You're watching Mystic Mondays.
This is Kurt Arsenault of Arsenault Advisory Group. Do you make a six-figure income but live paycheck to paycheck? You're not alone. Many six-figure income households will buy too much home and too much car, creating tremendous financial stress that builds debt when you should be building wealth. If you make six figures and live paycheck to paycheck, visit arsenaultadvisory.com and download our free ebook titled, I Make Six Figures and Live Paycheck to Paycheck. You have nothing to lose and potentially everything to gain. Visit arsenaultadvisory.com today.
Hello and welcome back to Mystic Mondays. I'm your host, Monica Bay, also known as the Healer in Heels, and we are talking about conscious relationships today. And I have with me Sonali Sadequee, and we have been talking about conscious relationships, somatic resiliency, and conscious communication. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes.
So just to finish up what I was saying, so discharging that tension energy from our body actually helps us to become more present with our heart and in our mind. And we're able to access the part of our brain that is conscious. Literally, like the prefrontal cortex of our brain is the only part of our brain that's behaving consciously. The other parts of our brain, the middle part of our brain and the limbic system, as well as the reptilian brain, it's very emotional and it's very reactive and it's kind of unconscious.
Yeah.
And it's always looking up for fear, and danger. It's like trying to avoid it, you know? And so we don't make our best decision when we're operating from those two parts of our brain.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the somatic resiliency practices is so that we can turn the volume down on those unconscious part of our brain, that reactionary part of our brain, so that we can rise up into the prefrontal cortex, which is the executive thinking brain. It's where we make our like executive decisions. It's where consciousness happens. It's where intelligence happens. It's where we take a pause before we talk.
Okay. Yes.
it's the part of our system it's the part of the brain that can control the rest of the brain. But when fear gets kicked up, we kind of lose our lid. We actually lose our connection to the prefrontal lobe, and the volume on the reactionary brain goes up. So by the resilience practices that I teach to the people that I am working with in my communication is so that that's the individual work, it's the self-regulation work. By learning these somatic practices, you learn to regulate yourself so that you can stay in your prefrontal cortex, in your conscious brain, and then you can bring that to the relationships in your life, personal, professional, especially the challenging relationships. You know, it's easy to be in our best behavior when we're in our easy relationships.
Yes. And so it sounds like this also has obviously some spiritual implications as well, and is part of spiritual growth. So tell me how this can help with for us, for the mystics out there that are interested in not only having conscious relationships, but how having conscious relationships and conscious communication can actually help them evolve spiritually as well.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for that question.
Yeah.
The answer to that question, gosh, I can talk like a whole hour on. I'll try to be very succinct. Mm-hmm. We human beings, we come in to the world. When we come into the world as an infant, right? Before we come into the world, we're already connected to everything that is. Mm-hmm. Our soul is connected to all that is.
Yes, definitely.
You know, all that was and all that will ever be.
Yes.
Right? Because we're all connected, and we will always be connected because the universe is one.
Yes.
Right? So, but here's
Preach.
what happens once. Here's what happens when we come into Earth, when we come through the birth canal, right? And we're born, we forget a lot of that.
Yeah.
And here's what happens more so. We forget more of that as we are raised as kids.
Yeah, I'm always saying that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As little babies, like even like baby isn't like even as young as 1 day old, all the way to 1 year old. Like even in that infancy stage, you know, our caretakers, whether it be our parents, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, whoever took care of us, our nannies, father, mother, whoever, right? Whoever were our primary caretakers, whoever were our teachers, like who were in our life, right? On a regular basis. The thing is that they did their best, but were they perfect? No. Were they there for us 24/7 and every single thing that we needed when we were a little baby?
No.
Not always, right? And here's what's going on. In the moments when we're little babies and we didn't get all of our needs met 24/7, which didn't happen to anybody in this world because everybody's, you know, had moments. But what that does is it has a way of making the baby feel a sense of separation, a sense of disconnectedness. Oh, like, where did they go? You know, the baby's looking around and then it starts to cry because, you know, it's not getting held or it's not being fed immediately, right? And so this happens time and time again. And as we're little kids and growing up, you know, we're just learning life, right? We're doing our best. Our caretakers are doing their best. And there were moments of challenges. Yeah. And that begins to set in a sense of disconnectedness, a sense of like feeling separate from the ultimate one. And here's what's happening. And yet, human beings, it is exactly what we're craving and wanting. We go through entire life seeking that sense of connectedness, that sense of oneness.
Yes.
You know, and oftentimes what happens is that our intimate partners, our romantic partners, becomes the place where we deeply expect that sense of connectedness. We expect that sense of oneness, you know, and it's oftentimes unconscious. Like, we don't.
That's a really good point. I never thought about it like that. I like that connection that you made there.
Yeah. And here's the thing. When we actually do find ourselves in relationships where we are seen and we are accepted and we are also able to connect with another person and their spirit, their soul, we do feel that divine connectedness. We do feel that wonderful, amazing feeling of like, oh my gosh, life is amazing, right?
Yes.
And it is this, and what we call this, so my teachers, Dr. Harville Hendricks and Dr. Helen LaKelly Hunt, the founders of Imago Therapy. And what they say is that we really are born with this desire to reconnect and re-experience what it feels like to have divine connection. Yes. And we go into relationships wanting and seeking that at a very unconscious agenda. And so the whole work of conscious communication is that we become conscious of this agenda so that we then now can use tools and resources that are actually needed, that the two people, right, in any relationship can, once they realize that our job in supporting and supporting this energy field between the two people is to support the creation of this reconnectedness, right? If we can come with this intention, with this like conscious agenda, and we know, okay, well, in order to preserve and reclaim and recreate and support the creation of this sense of connectedness, then we know that, oh, these are the tools that's going to make it happen. So let's go ahead and learn these tools, learn how to use them so that we can experience this sense of connectedness. And I would like to say, take it beyond the bedroom, right? Take it beyond the romantic relationship. Like, why not experience this with our friends? Why not with our colleagues? Why not with everybody?
Well, yeah, every relationship should be symbiotic and have that sense of connection as well. So how do you work with people on this? Is this something that you do virtually? Is this something that you do in person? Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so I work with my clients virtually, especially nowadays. So all across the country.
Yeah, right now.
Yes. And and globally as well. And we do Zoom sessions, and I usually work with clients in a set of usually about 3 months. So it's a 12-week program. And we have just like 1 hour call a week, and they have homework in between and readings and activities and practices. Lots of practices for self-regulation, things that you can do to better handle your own nerves and stay in your conscious brain, right? And then relational skills, which are co-regulation skills, which is really about communication skills. Yeah. And I want to leave the audience with something very important, especially nowadays. There's so many challenges happening in people's relationships as we're being forced to stay in 24/7 with each other, which a lot of times, some couples and some families are loving it, and some families are really suffering as a result of being forced to do that. And it is, like you said, it's bringing up so much.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people asking questions about that. So
and so the best thing that we can do when we're relating with one another and communicating with one another is, I'm going to share some tools.
Okay.
Become a deep listener, an active, deep listener. And that means when people say something, we just mirror them. We just try to duplicate what they said as they said it, without interpreting it, without putting our own spin on it. Just mirror them. And then ask, did I get you? And is there more? We really allow the other person to share, rather than when people share, then we just share and we just keep talking and piling information on top of each other. We don't really take time to slow down and make sure that we really heard the person, right? Yeah. And when people feel heard, it has such a deep impact in our nervous system, because everybody is actually craving to be heard. Yeah, and significance, and that's part of that. What they receive when they feel that they're being heard is they feel significant in that moment. Yeah. Yes. So mirroring, asking, did I get it? Is there more? And then validating is the third step. Validating means you just let them know that what they're saying and their perspective, it makes sense to you. You don't have to agree with it, and you don't even have to understand it. You just have to agree to the fact that they have their perspective, and you respect their perspective, because everybody has their own worldview on everything. Yes. Yeah. And that their perspective stands on its own. It doesn't need to be disagreed with. Nobody else needs to argue with that. Right? Which is kind of like what we can get into. We can get into like disagreements and arguments when really we just need to validate them. Right? Yeah. And then the fourth skill that I teach is empathizing, empathizing, really putting ourselves in that person's seat and try to feel what they're feeling from their perspective rather than our own perspective. And when we do that, magical connectedness happens. That's awesome. When we take the time to mirror, ask if there's more, be curious, basically, and validate and empathize with another person, that person starts to feel safer with us. They start to feel more settled into the relationship, or into that conversation at least. And then they start to feel like you get them, Yes. Yeah. And that's so, sorry, go ahead. And when people feel that you get them, people start to open up to you more, and they feel safer, and their ability to feel more connected to you just exponentially increases. And that is what we're trying to get people to co-create with each other, hold space for each other. And there's so much more I can say about this, but I want to say one thing is that when we start to create an energetic vortex between the two people that are behaving that way and holding space for each other that way, healing happens. Yes. Deep healing happens.
Yes, yes.
And that's where the transformation happens of the relationship. The relationship begins to transform, get into a path that feels truly loving and caring and empathetic.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sonali. Really quick, let everyone know how they can find you and everything you have going on.
Oh, thank you. So you can find me on through my website. It's sustainable-wellness.com. You can also find me on Instagram. My handle is Sonali Wellness. That's SONALIWELLNESS. And you can also give me a call at my 800 number. It's 800, 706-6778.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you for providing us with such great information. And I really like this topic. I love it. And everything that you said was definitely on point. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Monica. It was a pleasure. It's wonderful. I'm such a fan of yours. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm a fan of yours as well. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. So you've been watching Mystic Mondays with Monica Bay, and we'll be right back after this.
Okay. So I can get off, right? Or
yeah, or you can stay on and watch the rest if you want.
Okay.
Are you interested in buying or selling a home in the Atlanta area? Are you looking for an experienced, top-producing agent who consistently sells and closes homes year after year? If so, give Shira Cohen a call at 678-523-0757 or visit her website at shiracohen.atlantafinehomes.com to learn more. Her proven marketing methods, extensive resources, and partnership with Atlanta Fine Homes Sotheby's International Realty can truly make a difference when buying or selling a home.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mystic Mondays. I'm your host, Monica Bay, also known as the Healer in Heels. And today's topic is conscious communication. So we just had a wonderful guest on, Sonali Sadequee, and she provided some really, really great information and insight into what's called conscious communication and really, really connecting. It's all about connecting in a relationship. And right now, this is so important because so many people, as Sonali was saying, and as I said earlier, so many people are home right now and, dealing with relationships. And what does that look like for you? Dealing with family relationships, romantic relationships, children relationships, right? A lot of you are, dealing with a lot of that right now. And so this is all about really connecting and making sure that you can not only thrive in your relationships, but also healing and mending relationships. So we're going to talk some more about that in this last segment. So, but before we get into that, it is now time for Spirit Shout Out.
Spirit Shout Out.
Sorry, I just love those. Okay, Spirit Shout Out today. So each time when we do Spirit Shout Out, we're highlighting a deity or spirit or energy that you may or may not want to work with. You do want to work with, and letting you know all about that. So today's shout out goes to Archangel Raphael. Yes, Archangel Raphael is an archangel for healing. And very, very strong, very, very powerful. A lot of people work with Archangel Raphael. And if you have not tried to work with any of the archangels before, he is a great one to start with. So you can call upon Raphael for and ask for healing to come. And the energy presence of Raphael is very, very strong. And you can usually feel that presence when it comes into the room. And really, very, very high vibration. And Raphael is, again, archangel of healing. So healing you on all levels, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional. and really, really allowing that to happen. Now, what happens is when you call upon Archangel call upon Archangel Raphael for healing, what'll happen is he may come in a dream. If you have mediumship abilities like me, where you're able to see spirits or energies or angels, you can, he'll likely appear before you and you can see him. But other than that, sometimes he'll come in your dream when you call upon him, come in a dream, because it's easier. The reason why spirits and angels and just anything on the energetic level comes in your dreams more often is because when we are in the dream state, we are more open, we are spiritually more open and able to communicate with the spirit realm. So when we're walking around in our consciousness all day, oftentimes we're closed off from that. And so, but when you're in a dream state, it's easier for spirits to be able to visit you, which is why some of you will notice when you have had anyone that has passed away, many people will dream of that spirit. And that is the actual spirit visiting you, by the way. That is the spirit visiting you and communicating with you, saying goodbye or whatever they're saying. And so when you dream of that, it is very, very real. So again, Archangel Raphael may come to you in a dream. Also, when you call upon him to ask for healing, it may not happen in the moment. The healing may not happen in that moment. What may happen, depending on what you have to heal from, what may happen is that there will be certain circumstances that Archangel Raphael will put before you, certain circumstances that will lead you to healing opportunities. So a lot of times when we are trying to manifest healing or we're trying to manifest, something in our lives, oftentimes we'll expect that to happen right then and there. And sometimes it does, but sometimes there needs to be a progression. Sometimes there needs to be a journey of healing, because when you go through an experience, it creates a stronger bond to that healing and it allows that healing to set in a lot more, because that's just how our human experience works. So it may create circumstances that lead to your healing in the near future. And you'll notice, certain things will start to happen that force you to reevaluate yourself or force you to notice a darkness that was inside of you that you didn't previously realize was there or still there, and forces you to kind of work through that. So that's another way that healing will facilitate itself. And it may just happen on its own, and you can, feel it or notice it. Again, sometimes it will happen instantaneously. And sometimes once you call upon Archangel Raphael for healing, over the next course of the next week or two, you may just feel changed and realize that you've been healed. So those are different ways that you can use that. So that is our spirit shout out today to Archangel Raphael. Yeah. So next, what I want to talk to you guys about is stress management and fear management. So we're going to get back to the conscious relationships in a little bit, but I just want to really, really give you guys a quick steps that you can do to manage your stress and your fear. Sonali earlier was talking about how our stress response kicks in when things change in relationships, when things get different than our norm or what we were expecting, right? And right now, there's a lot of things that are changing that we weren't expecting previously, and a lot of you are being faced with those changes right now. And some of you are having that fear response, that stress response right now. And so I want to give you a very, very quick and easy tip on how to release that. And because what happens is if you allow stress, anxiety, fear to build up in your body over time, every little piece of stress and fear that you get, if you don't release it, it just builds and builds and builds. Okay. And then eventually it starts to clog up your energy system. It starts to create physical or emotional and mental issues, spiritual issues. And so obviously we don't want that to happen. We're mystics. We want to reach self-actualization. You can't reach self-actualization when you're being clogged up. So you have to clear those clogs. So the best way to do that is to just sit in get into a meditative state of some sort. It doesn't have to be a deep, deep meditation. It could be a light meditation of just a state of focus and quiet and calm. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, with your awareness, you're going to just scan your body. And you don't have to think about how to do it. You just do it. And because you naturally have the ability to do this. So you just scan your body for any areas of fear or stress. Just allow your awareness to bring you to those points in your body, because we carry that in different points of our bodies. A lot of people carry stress in their knees. Everyone's body is different in terms of the blueprint of where it will store that stress and where it will store fear. Everyone's slightly different. So you just have to scan your body and find those places. And then what you do is you just connect to that darkness, those pockets of stress or fear, and then you breathe it out to let go of it. And a good thing that you can do, since we just talked about Archangel Raphael, is you can actually breathe that out and give it up to Archangel Raphael. Now, if you haven't worked with archangels, or you prefer to give it up to something else, then you can certainly give it up to your higher power, to the universe, whatever it is that works for you. But this is something that works very, very well and will allow you to cleanse your body. Now, just so everyone knows, I have a quick announcement as well, that I have a daily live stream that I've been doing for the past, I think we're on week number 4 now, but I have a daily live stream called Mindful Mornings. I'm streaming live every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all 3 platforms at once. It's called Mindful Mornings. And what I'm doing is free. I am giving everyone a guided mindfulness meditation. We focus on something different every day. And the point of me doing this is to really help. This is me giving back to the community to really help everyone get through these tough times. And so in these Mindful Mornings live streams, I'm also, teaching people something. There's always a topic of the day, and teaching people how to maintain their energy, how to get rid of their stress, how to get rid of fear, how to get rid of anxiety. And the whole point is to help people get through today and beyond, and to help people really start to thrive in the current environment that we're living in, because there are so many opportunities to thrive. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is healing relationships. So Sonali mentioned it earlier, actually, about once you create those connections of being able to actually hold that space and heal that energy in the relationship. Well, I want to teach you guys a very, very quick technique to heal the negativity or tension in a relationship. And this is using the power of your mind, using the power of your energy, because I've always tell you guys, you have the power within you to change everything that you want in your life, including your relationships, including the energy between you and another person. You have the power and control over that. And so what you can do is, it's important right now, especially if you're having any issues in your relationships and you're stuck at home, it's important to focus on mending and rebuilding or refreshing those relationships. And this is a perfect time to be able to do that, because you're forced to be together right now. Whereas sometimes, before, you may have both been at work all the time. Maybe you and your spouse are always at work, and so you're only home dealing with the kids or what have you. And now you're forced to face the problems that you were ignoring before. Or maybe there's new problems being created because you're around each other all the time. So if there's any tension in a relationship, and this doesn't have to be just, it doesn't have to be about romantic relationships. This could be friendships and any kind of relationship. But what you can do is clean. I'm calling it cord cleaning. So some of you have heard of cord cutting. And just so I'm going to explain what a cord is really quick. A cord is an energy connection between you and another person. So that is that space between that Sonali was referring to earlier. And there's an actual line of energy that is created between you and another person every single time you interact with them. And the more you interact with them, the stronger that connection gets. So the best thing to clean that cord, so that cord, that's a connection where emotions and other energies pass through. So it's a two-way cord, okay? And then what happens is it keeps us feeling attached and connected, or detached, depending on how clean that energy is. If it's dirty or clean. If it's dirty, it's filled with tension, stress, and anger, or whatever's happening in your relationship. So a good way to do that is just to really focus in, connect to that cord. And again, you don't have to think about how to do it. You just do it because it'll naturally happen. And then you can visualize either white light or gold light, whichever you feel more inclined to, streaming through that cord and keep visualizing that until the entire cord between you and that other person, that entire connection, that line of connection, is completely clear. It's completely either white or gold. And then you're going to infuse that with love, forgiveness, happiness, whatever those things are that you want to create between the two of you. You want to create that that loving space, that happiness, because you're removing the negativity and bringing in positivity. So that is a technique that works very, very well. And then, also using the tips that Sonali gave for mending relationships as well. Now, again, I want to tell you guys all about that virtual experience virtual healing experience that I'm having on April 25th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, we're eliminating fear, giving you a deeper connection for clarity and direction. And so if you're interested in registering for that event, again, this is rare. I don't do these very often. It's monicabay.com/event. All right. So everyone, thank you so much for joining today and watching Mystic Mondays. And I'm your host, Monica Bay, and I will see you next time.
Thank you for watching Mystic Mondays with me, Monica Bay, also known as the Healer in Heels on United Intentions Media Network. Want to see more of me? Be sure to follow me on all social media at The Real Monica Bay. Join me next time on Mystic Mondays as we continue to elevate and illuminate all things mystic. Until next time. Stay updated on all UI Media shows at www.uimediaapp.com.
The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.